The Galactic Assembly had labeled Earth a Class 13 Deathworld. Long before any of their fleets dared approach it, the reasons were obvious: an atmosphere saturated with reactive oxygen capable of corroding alloys over time, oceans filled with a strange liquid the humans casually called water, a compound that dissolved rock, rusted metals, and drowned countless species across the galaxy. Gravity, nearly 3 times the galactic norm, an ecosystem overflowing with microscopic organisms that invaded the body unseen, and at the center of it all, the dominant species known as humans, Commander Threx, stood rigid before the tactical holosphere, his multifaceted eyes fixed on the blinking signal. Approaching the flagship, only one life signature, just one. That should have been impossible. The Dominion had deployed 4,000 soldiers to Earth's surface. Veterans shock. Troops, elite warriors bred for conquest. The mission itself had been routine. Secure the landing zone. Neutralize the native species, begin planetary extraction operations. The Dominion had performed this exact strategy across hundreds of systems. Never once had it failed, yet the transport pod now drifting toward the docking bay told a very different story. Report, Threx demanded. A junior officer flicked through the data streams, antenna trembling. The pod is connected to the docking clamps, Commander. Medical personnel are ready. Threx moved toward the hangar with measured steps, armored guards following closely behind. Something had gone terribly wrong. The pod's hatch released with a hiss of pressurized gas. Smoke spilled across the hangar floor, and then a figure stumbled out. Corporal Varric, once a decorated member of the Dominion's Iron Talon Battalion, now his armor was shattered. One limb hung uselessly. Cracks ran across his chitinous shell. Leaking dark fluid onto the deck, he collapsed to one knee. Corporal Threx said sharply, "Explain what happened on the surface." Varric's breathing was uneven. They knew we were coming. A murmur spread through the surrounding officers. "That is impossible," Threx replied. "Human technology is primitive. Their species barely reached its own moon." Varric shook his head weakly. "That's what we believed." The medical drones approached, but the wounded soldier pushed them away. "They allowed us to land," he continued. "Allowed us to construct our forward base." His voice trembled, and then the attacks began. Threx leaned forward slightly. "Describe." "The enemy's tactics, they do not fight like civilized species," Varric said. "When our plasma weapons overwhelmed them, they vanished into their terrain. When our shields blocked their projectiles, they switched to explosives. When our armor resisted those, they used the planet itself." The hangar had fallen. Completely silent, they lured our squads into frozen regions where machinery failed. Collapsed mountains onto armored divisions. They poisoned water sources and infected supply lines. They turned forests into traps. Threx's mandibles tightened, but we had superior numbers. Rek let out a weak, broken laugh. Numbers mean nothing to them. They evolved. On a world trying to kill them, every moment of their lives, they fight. Storms. They fight. Diseases. They fight predators larger and stronger than themselves, and they survive.
One
officer stepped forward. "How many humans did you encounter?" Varric stared blankly ahead. "One." Shock rippled through the room. "A single soldier ambushed 3 battalions." Varric continued. He kept advancing even after losing blood and limbs. He used our fallen weapons. Used rocks, he used fire. He never stopped. Threx felt a chill run through his armored frame. "How did you escape?" Varric closed his eyes. "I didn't." The hangar lights hummed softly. Overhead, the human commander captured me, he said quietly. "He repaired my wounds just enough to survive the journey." Threx frowned. "Why?" "To deliver a message." Every officer leaned closer. Varak forced himself upright. The commander said Earth belongs to no empire. Any fleet that arrives as conquerors will never leave. The wounded soldiers. Breathing grew shallow. He also said something else. Waited, he said. The galaxy still believes humanity is. Young Varek's voice dropped to a whisper. But they've been studying the stars for centuries. They knew empires, like ours, would eventually come. They prepared for it. The medical scanner beeped. Urgently, Varek's life signs were fading. Commander, Earth isn't a primitive world. Bait. The words echoed through the silent. Hangar. A trap designed to reveal hostile civilizations. Threx stared at the dying soldier. Expect us to believe humans allowed themselves to appear weak. For centuries. Varek nodded faintly. Their technology is hidden. Our defenses are deeper than we imagined. They wanted us to reveal ourselves. His breathing faltered. Again, the human commander said something. Before they sent me back? What? Varek's eyes dimmed. He said, if the Dominion values its survival, it will erase Earth from its charts and never return. With a final shudder, the soldier went still. The hangar stood, frozen in stunned silence. Threx slowly turned toward the communications. Officer, send a priority transmission to the assembly. The officer nodded nervously. What classification? Should Earth receive, Commander? Threx looked down at the body of the last survivor of an entire invasion force. No conquered world had ever returned a single soldier. As a warning, no species had ever destroyed 4,000 Dominion warriors without leaving orbit. He took a slow breath. Remove Earth from all expansion routes. Psst. The officer hesitated. And the classification. Threx spoke quietly. Beyond classification. He turned toward the viewing port where the blue planet glowed faintly in the distance. Helm. Yes. Commander, set course away from this system. Maximum velocity. It's far behind the departing fleet. Hidden deep within the ruined battlefield on Earth's surface. A small satellite activated silently. Its signal shot toward. Orbita human operator watched the alien ships retreat across the stars. He smiled. Slightly, the trap had worked perfectly, and now humanity knew exactly who their enemies were.